Hey everybody, it's Brian back with the VIP Soundcheck, and I'm very honored to have a very special guest with me. I have EMILY PASCHKE from Letters Sent Home. And EMILY, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we talked about probably about a year ago when I was with a prior channel. And so I should say you're calling from Germany. So it's probably about 8 o'clock there tonight?
Yeah, 8:08 it's now, I think. Yeah.
Okay. And you guys have been up to a lot in the last year since we talked. You've released, I think you said 5 songs. So kind of tell everybody what you've been up to in the past year.
We basically just were up to anything regarding the debut album. We started writing the debut album in January 2022, so it's been like more than 2 years since we started the writing process, and we started releasing the first single back in October, so already like half a year ago almost, which was really exciting because we also signed to Sharptone Records, our new label, and we had a lot of live shows. We mostly support shows though, but those are always like so much fun because you get to know different people and you get to kind of show your music to new people, so that's always really exciting. Yeah.
Nice. And you had mentioned that the debut album's coming out and it's entitled Forever Undone, correct?
Correct.
And what's the release date for that?
That's in almost 2 weeks or I don't even know what day it is. Thursday, right? Yeah.
March, yes, Thursday, March 28th.
It's April 12th, so really soon. We're so excited. We still can't believe it because, we've been making music since 2018, and we've been putting out singles and singles and singles ever since. So for this project to finally be out there after so many years of making music, it's really exciting. We're a bit nervous too, of course, because there's a lot of personal stories in that album, and also we obviously want people to like it. But yeah, we're mostly excited.
Nice. And everything that I've heard so far, it's going to be awesome. So, I mean, like you said, the 4 or 5 songs that you released have been incredible.
Thanks.
So, how have things changed after signing with Sharptone? Do you guys still have like the full control over your music, or has that changed at all?
No, music-wise, they really let us do whatever we want. We didn't. To be honest, the debut album was already like half of it was already written when we signed to Sharptone Records. But they're a great team. They help us out with everything, but they also leave us the most creative space. They're always there if you want some new input or if you want a different opinion on things. But they don't really steer us in one direction. Like, we can do what we want when we feel comfortable with it, but also it really helps to talk to them about some decisions, like what are these singles, what are the music videos and stuff like that, because they obviously have so many like experiences in that area, like what works and like which we don't have. So we always try to work with them on everything. But they don't force us to do anything, so yeah.
Nice.
It's been
That's
really,
awesome.
really
That's awesome. You still got creative control over everything.
Definitely, yeah.
Nice. You mentioned that you guys have been doing some shows, and I've been seeing on Instagram some of the videos and pictures that you posted, and it looks like you have some more dates coming up in later April.
Yeah, we have some dates coming up in April and in May, and we're going to be in Paris and in Harlem for the first time. So I think we played one show outside of Germany in London back in 2022. And that's the only show outside of Germany that we had so far. So we're really excited for those 2 dates. We're supporting Honey Revenge, which is an awesome band. And we were so we still can't believe that they asked us to come along. Yeah.
That's got to be a great feeling, having big bands like that coming and inviting you to join them and going to even other countries. And so, any thought of going out even outside of Europe anytime soon?
Not yet. It's just a lot of money and a lot of work and a lot of everything. So we're not there yet. But we're working on it. It's definitely a goal of ours to especially come to the US, because we do have a lot of US listeners. We know that. But we're just not quite there yet. But
sure.
To everyone who's listening, keep streaming our music, buying our merch, vinyls, everything, and we'll eventually be there. Yeah.
So go ahead, pre-save it. Make sure you order. And I know you said you helped me get the pre-order for the vinyl. I appreciate that, because I couldn't figure out how to get it sent to the US. So
I know it's a bit complicated, because like there are different stores for the different countries and everything. But yeah, if you're based in the US, you should order via the Shopton Records website. It's the easiest way. Yeah.
Nice. And I'll put the link down below for everybody so you can go and make sure you pre-order. It's going to be a fantastic album. And we had talked before, you had actually when you were in high school, you spent time here in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit of a homecoming for you to come back.
I mean, wait, to come back? What do you mean?
To come back if you were to come back and play in the US and come to Pennsylvania again.
Yeah, definitely. I like my friends from the US and my host family and everyone, they're all like, if you're ever in the US touring with your band, like we need to get like backstage passes, and we need to see you, like how you live, how you do that. And they're all very supportive. So yeah, that would be awesome to play in Pennsylvania someday.
Nice. And I want to talk some about the new songs that you come out with in the past year or so that are going to be on the new album. One that really stood out to me was I Hope I Die First. And what caught me was, I mean, first of all, it's a very deep, emotional song, but the video was really cinematic and beautifully shot. And so how did you guys come up with the concept of the song as a whole? And then obviously the video kind of matched it.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather die than live my life without you in there. I'm trying to get by, but if you left, I know it'd kill me. So I hope I die first.
That song was actually inspired by the song "Line It Up" by Palais Royale. I don't know if you know that song, but that's like a really powerful ballad, and we knew we wanted to have like such a song as well, which, you know, builds up and has this big revelation at the end. And so musically we knew that was going to be one of the songs on the album. Like, yeah, when we started writing the album, we knew that'll be probably also the last song on the album, which it actually is. And lyrically, I always said to myself and to the band and in general, I didn't want to write love songs. Just because there's so many love songs out there, and I didn't think that I have something new to say. I didn't, like, if I wrote a love song, I didn't want it to be one of those love songs that you've heard like a million times before. Nothing new, nothing exciting, just like, you know, I love you and you're my everything, which is, I mean, fine. Everyone is absolutely fine to do that, like, go for it. It just wasn't for me. I never felt, I never felt really inspired to do that. But then I had this idea of someone, like, loving someone so much that it just hurts, that it's too much. And during this whole songwriting process, this whole album writing process, I actually started going to therapy. So all my emotional troubles came, to the surface. And that's also one thing that I actually dealt with in therapy to like an extent. Like I love like almost too much.
Okay.
And that was a topic I felt was really interesting. And I don't know, I feel like when you're talking about love, it's almost always really positive and everything is so great and everything is so fine. Or it's like a heartbreak song, like, you know, this person broke my heart, but I wanted it, like, I thought it was a really new view on love to tell a story about loving someone and the relationship actually being like fine, like you're good, you're in a relationship and everything's fine, but it's still like really difficult sometimes. And you like loving too much and being too into and like being too codependent is not, it's not okay. Like that can be really, really toxic. So I thought that was really interesting. And I don't know, that was kind of my whole and then honestly, I don't think I will ever write a love song again, but that can change. I mean, I don't know. I wanted to tell my story and I told my story now. I don't know, maybe I'll have a different story in the future, which I want to tell. But for right now, my love story is told and I don't think I need to tell it twice. So yeah. And for the video, I don't know, it was actually Robin's idea to have this whole emo wedding, which we all really, we loved the idea. And then I thought it was really important to have this view of this toxicity like portrayed, you know. So yeah, it's a wedding, it's all beautiful and everyone loves each other, whatever. But then this whole dying thing, which is not okay. Like you should actually not feel that way to be like, I can't live without you. That should not be the case. You should always be able to live without your partner. It's a different thing if you say I can't live without you or I don't want to live without you. Those are two different things. So we wanted to portray this obsession and this toxicity as well in that video. And yeah, we filmed it with Trey Film, who is a videographer based in Latvia, and he is one of the most amazing videographers in the scene. He's worked with like Eminence and other amazing bands that we look up to, and it's been our dream to film with him ever since we started doing music. And now having actually the possibility to shoot with him was so amazing, and he is such a hardworking and creative guy, and so sweet and amazing. Yeah, so
nice. And that was cool. I appreciate how, like you said, it was kind of raw, and it was like you're talking about that toxic nature of needing somebody, and it almost had like a Romeo and Juliet type of feel to it.
Yeah, definitely. That was not consciously my inspiration, but looking back at it, definitely, like, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Gotcha. And you had mentioned that you're putting a lot of kind of yourself and your own story into this album. And I saw just within the past couple of days, your latest song, Final Battle, on Instagram, you even said, like, this is a very personal message, and that'll kind of come through the album.
I know I'm lost, but I caught up, and I know I've got the power to break free and to drown it. But when I meet the end of the world, I'll be proud of myself. For 16 years, I did believe that, and now I'm going full speed to find.
Without obviously giving away too much too early, what are some of the themes of the album as a whole?
I think the biggest theme of the album that you can hear, at least in like one line in almost every song, is actually the religious trauma that I went to as a teenager. so there are 2 or 3 songs that actually deal with that theme as a whole, and then they're like Request Denied, for example, the first single we put out. There's a line which goes like, let's face it, there's no heaven, disappointing, but at least I learned my lesson. So like the song itself is not about religious trauma, but it's kind of, you know, I kind of snuck it in there. So that actually, like dealing with that during this whole album writing process has helped me a lot to process everything that happened, especially paired with therapy that I, you know, was going to at the same time. It's just that I grew up religious. I was a Baptist. I don't know when I actually started going to church regularly, like every Sunday, really early on. I don't even remember a time when I didn't go to church back then. I was at like groups, like children groups and whatever, outside of church, and everything. Like my whole personality was just like religion, and a lot has happened since then. That has made me realize that I don't want to be part of that anymore. But I still think it's a positive thing to have faith in something. But for me, having faith and religion are 2 different things, and I separate those now. So that's definitely a huge part of the album. And also, I don't know, I talk about my mom, for example, and yeah, different personal stories.
Sure. Is it therapeutic for you to get that out there for the world to hear and just say, you know, this is kind of me? And has that helped you through this process along with the therapy?
Writing, yes, but I think getting those out there, it's just, once the song is put out, I try to separate my own personal story from the song, because I don't want to, every time I listen to the song, think about my stuff, you know.
Sure.
And I have to listen to the song a lot because I do our social media and I post like a bunch of videos all the time. But yeah, it's definitely been therapeutic writing. But once it's out there, and I try to not connect myself too much with it. But I'm always really happy if other people connect with it, and that's why we do this, and that's what we're aiming for. Yeah.
I know I lied in my songs at least twice when I put my head out, but I guess nothing's changed and I can't help. I wrote 1,000 songs about depression, but I'm still depressed.
Yeah.
Sure. Now, so that's coming out in a couple of weeks. You said the brand new debut album. Do you guys have more songs that are kind of in the hopper now for, I hate to say the next album already because it hasn't even released, but you know, I know how that works. There's always kind of something going on. So.
No, we don't have any songs finished yet. We are constantly like writing, but it's all in really, really early stages. We do have a project in mind that we want to start this year, but it's not at all confirmed or, you know, whatever. So we are not gonna stop working once the album is out. I think that's actually when it all just starts, you know. Yeah.
Was there ever a point in the writing process when you're done and you could just like, I can take a breath right now? It's like, it's ready to go. The album's ready. Or, I mean, do you allow yourself to kind of take that break from it?
Honestly, the album writing process was a bit weird because it's just, so how we write is we write demos at home, and once we think those have like those are quite finished or like about to get there, we're driving down to Koblenz, which is a city in Germany where our producer is located, who we have worked with since the beginning, a really good friend of ours. And we finished the songs with him, and he always just takes them to another level because he's a brilliant songwriter, and he's definitely like the fifth member of Letters in Home. He has influenced our music a lot as well. So, and then we finish, like, usually we go down there for like 3 to 5 days, and then we finish 2 to 3 songs, and then we go back. So we've always had those small breaks between writing, because we had like those, I don't know, 30 demos at home, and then 30 is maybe a bit too much actually, but like I don't know, 25 demos at home, and then we drove down to record them with our producer. And once that's been finished, we had this break, and then I don't know, a month later we drove down there again and finished the other songs and stuff like that. So we always had like little breaks in between, but that's also why the album writing process took like over a year. Yeah.
Nice. Now, how do you deal with, because, and maybe you haven't dealt with this, but you know, you hear a lot about like writer's block, or you get in a funk where you're trying to finish songs. If you've experienced that, what do you do to overcome that?
Yeah, that's a very good question. To be honest, I'm not quite as involved in the instrumentals. I do write all the lyrics and the vocals and everything, so I can only speak, about that. And there's definitely sometimes this moment when you want to tell a story, but you just have no words. It's so frustrating, and when you sit there and you know what you want to tell, but you just don't know how to tell it. And when that happens, I try to not force myself to write, because I know it's not going to be good. It has to come naturally. And I honestly sometimes listen to other songs when that happens, like songs that I know have inspired me in the past, songs that are also about the same topic or a similar topic that I want to write about. I listen to artists that I like the style of the lyrics of, stuff like that. I just always dive into other, like, different music, other kinds of music, if I have a writer's block. But I definitely do not try to force myself to write, because that's never good. Yeah.
Now, what does it mean to, because you've been out traveling around Germany doing shows, and you're going to be going to Paris, like you said, meeting fans for the first time and meeting people that connect with your music and love that. How important is that to you individually, and then as a whole as a band?
I love it. We love it. It's the best thing, because I don't know, putting your songs out there, you're not looking at the streams on Spotify for artists, for example. You can see, okay, people stream your songs, but you don't see their faces. You don't know why. You don't know how often. You don't know what it means to them. But when you actually get to meet the people and they tell you their stories, and they, I don't know, it's just appreciation on a very, very different level. We played a support tour back in February, I want to say, we supported a German artist called Demona. She's like a really young coming up rock artist. She's amazing, and she has the most loving fans, like die-hard fans, those are like really young, mostly girls, and they welcomed us with such open arms. We just, I've never felt this love before. We were on stage, and we supported 5 shows, and it was so crazy because at the first show nobody knew us, and by the last shows they were, singing our songs, but they're different people. So I don't know how that happened, but I don't know, we've never had so many people come up to us to buy merch, to take photos, you know, to have like autographs and stuff like that. 2 or 3 people ask us to draw them a tattoo, so that's just crazy. And I love it. I love it so much. I want to do it every time we do a show. We go to the merch table after the show and we talk to fans and listeners, and it's because we wouldn't be here if it weren't for them. And I understand how some artists feel that it's a little overwhelming, because sometimes it really is, but it's always worth it to look at someone's face and see the excitement there. Yeah.
Sure. Now, this may be kind of hard to answer, but what are some of your dreams for the band in the next couple of years?
I think our goal is just to play bigger shows. I mean, we appreciate every single show we play, and we appreciate every single person that shows up. But I don't know, playing a show in front of, I don't know, 2,000, 3,000 people in a club, or like whatever, that's just a dream for us, and that's what we're working towards. We'll see, I guess.
Undoubtedly, that's going to be happening soon for you.
That's sweet, thank you.
Well, Emily, I really appreciate you taking this time. Is there anything that you'd like to say to fans before we sign off?
Just again, pre-order Forever Undone. It's out in 2 weeks, or I don't know when this is gonna air, but it'll be out soon, I guess. Yeah, I don't know, if you're based in Germany, come to our shows. We would love to meet you, and if not, we will someday be in your city, I promise. And thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
And yeah,
it's an honor. And like she said, buy the album, buy the t-shirts. If you want them to come to the US, you got to support them. That's how it works. Well, again, Emily, thank you so much. I really appreciate this. It's a blast talking with you again and kind of catching up a little bit. So, and as always, I want to thank you guys for spending this time with us. Love you all. God bless, and rock on.